Hi guys, Paul here. Today I'm going to do a shave, and I'm going to be using the PAA Starling razor. This is a new razor that was put out by Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. This is a single edge razor, a razor that uses a gem style single edge blade. It's a 3-piece razor made out of aluminum, anodized aluminum, and there's your, see if I can get this in here, standard gem blade right there. And basically the head has a couple little notches, or a couple little tabs right there, and you basically just set the blade down so that it's resting on those tabs. And then the head has a couple little recesses that match up to those two little tabs. So you basically just put your head down onto the razor and just kind of jiggle it until it seats. And you want to make sure that it's kind of evenly seated in there, and that it's sitting down. The head is, and the recesses in the head are matched up to the tabs on the base plate, and then you just screw your handle in. So the razor is anodized aluminum, and it looks like it's this kind of matte gray anodized finish, and the base plate I'm using today is gold. The gold one. This is the B plate. It actually comes with two plates. It comes with a plate, which is this blue one. This is kind of your mild, kind of standard regular shave, and the B plate is the more aggressive plate. And so part of the deal was this razor was shipped with both plates, and Douglas from PAA asked for people's feedback on the B plate. So I'm going to go ahead and do a shave today. I guess that's, for me, the best way to give my feedback on this plate, and I'll let you guys know what I think about the razor. For my soap today, I'm using a soap that I've had for quite some time. It's the Queen Charlotte Fougere. This is actually their shaving cream, not their shaving soap. But it's actually very much like the soap, except it's a softer. It's just a softer, and I think the components were a little bit different. I don't think this one had any, well, I guess it does have tallow in it. I can't remember what the differences were, but the cream is definitely softer. And Queen Charlotte was one of the first artisan soap makers that I used. When I first got into wet shaving, there was only a few artisan soap makers. Queen Charlotte was one of them, and they were always kind of one of my favorites. In the last year or two, they've closed their doors, unfortunately, and they're no longer around, but I still have this soap left, and I've been trying to finish it up, so that's kind of what I have left. And I'm going to use it for my shave today, since I'm basically just using this until it's done. And for my brush, I'm going to be using the Simpson Emperor 1. This is the Emperor 1. This is a interesting little brush. Small, I think it's only about 22 millimeter knot. The knot's not very dense. The brush is kind of floppy. And when I first got it, I didn't really like it that much, but over the last year or so, I've kind of really come to appreciate this brush quite a bit. Even though it is not real dense, I really seem to enjoy it, and I've been liking it a lot more lately. So the thing I like about it is I like kind of the longer handle, so when you're loading your soap, you're not getting soap all over your hands, and when you're lathering, your fingers are far enough away from your face that that you're not getting soap all over your fingers, which is kind of cool. And this brush is really soft. It's the Simpson Super Badger, but as you can see, it's not super dense. But if you actually just use kind of a light touch when you're lathering, it really lathers the soap up nicely, and it's really super soft. The other thing that's nice is with the small knot, you're not getting soap all over your entire face, ears, and everything like you do with a bigger brush. You can kind of apply your soap a little more precisely. So So with this Queen Charlotte cream, what I've been doing with it is just, I don't soak it or anything. I just basically soak my brush, and then when I pull a brush out, I give it a light shake, and then I just go ahead and load the brush. And then just lather it up on my face. Sometimes I'll add a little water if I find it's a little bit too dry. Like I might just add a little water here just for kicks. So it's looking, actually lather's looking pretty good, but let's add a little bit of water here, just loosen it up a little bit. But as you can see, this cream really lathers nicely. This was always one of the nice features of the Queen Charlotte products, is that they really lathered up really easily, made a nice thick creamy lather. So there you go. I think we'll call that good. Set that aside. Let's get kind of some of the excess off my beard here and my neck. Put that excess back on the brush. Get this off my ears. Get it all up here under my eye. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and get going with this razor. Kind of interesting, some of the various posts on Facebook. Some people really love this plate, and then there's a few instances where guys got some pretty significant cuts with this thing, and I'm not really sure what's going on, why they did. I was a little bit apprehensive to use this at first because I was actually really quite happy with the blue plate. I found over the years that I don't really care for a super aggressive razor. When I first started out wet shaving, I really liked the hyper aggressive razors a lot, like that Miele R41, and you know, I was always looking for the more aggressive razors. But as the years have gone on, I've kind of gotten to the point where I really don't care for those type of razors that much anymore. I found that I don't really need a hyper aggressive razor to get a good shave. Sort of figured out my beard to the point now where I can get a good shave with pretty much any razor, no matter the aggressiveness. So I found that I kind of, as time has gone on, I've gravitated more toward the medium to milder razors, since I can get a nice, close, comfortable shave and not have to worry about getting cut or having razor burn afterwards. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and nonetheless soldier on with this razor. I found that for me, the way that this, at least the way my technique has sort of evolved over time, is that I still do the downward pass with my first pass, which is pretty much the way it's always been. But my second pass, instead of coming straight up on my neck, I kind of have coming at an angle like this, and then on my cheeks straight up and down. And then on my last pass, I'll come straight across through here, and then kind of at an angle like that on my neck. And I found that with my beard growth, that pattern seems to work really well. I can get a really close shave in 3 passes with pretty much any razor, and don't really have to worry too much about razor burn or doing a lot of buffing and whatnot afterwards. So, over the years, I've sort of found what works best for me, and that seems to be the pattern that I've settled upon. Okay, last pass. So far what I would say about this razor, you definitely feel the blade more with this gold plate versus the blue. It definitely has a more aggressive feel, and I could see how with this particular setup that if you're not careful and you really start pushing down hard on the razor, how you could probably have some issues with razor burn and whatnot. And I'm sure it would be pretty easy to cut yourself with this if you're really pushing down hard. The other thing about this is that you need to really make sure that that blade or the cap and the base plate are seated properly. I did notice one morning when I went to shave that it looked like it was a little cockeyed. When I looked at it, one side of the base plate was not seated in the recesses in the cap properly. So I can see how that would be pretty easy to do. The tabs are not super long, and so you just need to be a little extra careful loading that blade. Make sure it's seated properly and the caps are all lined up properly. So on my cheeks, this last pass is actually kind of across the grain. My second one is against the grain. On my jawline, this is definitely against the grain here. The hair seems to grow that direction, so this is pretty much straight against the grain. Okay. I just rinse my face off and then I'll give my thoughts on this. All right. So overall, I'd have to say, for me personally, I prefer the blue plate. I think that the A plate for me is just more comfortable. And I get just as good a shave with that as I do with the yellow plate. The yellow plate or the gold plate, I think for me it just feels a little bit too harsh. And I guess if for guys that really like an aggressive shave, this might be more to their liking. Or if they have a really wiry beard or whatever, then they might prefer this. But for me, the blue is just fine. It's nice and comfortable, and don't really find that I need anything more aggressive than that. I have used the gold plate maybe 4 or 5 times, and I've not found that it really gives me personally that much better of a shave. And I'm just noticing here I've got a little bit of a weeper right there from that. And that's what I found. I think that afterwards with this gold plate, I tend to have just feel a slightly more irritation with that than I do the blue. I don't get any irritation with that. I get the same level of closeness, but without the harshness that I get with that gold plate. So anyways, for me, blue plate is preferable, but you know, always, as in shaving, your mileage may vary. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Jitterbug Fougere. This is what they describe as a dark fougere, and it definitely, to me, what falls into that aromatic fougere category. I really kind of dig the scent of this one. It smells really good, so I'm enjoying it. It feels like it has a little bit of menthol in there too, although I don't see any listed on the ingredients. That's peppermint, so maybe that's what's given a little bit of a cooling effect there. So Anyways, guys, that's my shave with the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Starling razor and the Type B or B plate, which is the gold plate, and my thoughts. And if you have any questions or thoughts about that and want to comment below, please feel free to do so. I will respond to them as soon as I can. So anyways, guys, have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye.